Have you ever sat down and reflected, yesteryears were the good old days. Those were the days when, and you begin to talk about yesteryears, the good old days. You forget all the problems, and somehow time has made all the problems disappear and all the positive memories to be reaffirmed in our minds. The people of Israel, and Haggai is calling them to listen to what God had to say and consider their ways. They began to talk about the good old days. They looked out at the temple and they said, here's the glory of the temple. We remember from the days of Solomon when it was in the height of its glory and all that came after that. We've heard the stories from our fathers and our grandfathers, and now we see nothing but rumble and a foundation that's partially laid. How can we recall the glories of God when we look out and we see all that we have before us? Many of us recall the good old days. We recall the days of revival meetings when churches were full. At every service, people walked the aisle. The preaching was filled with fire and people sang with vigor, and the altar was filled at the end of every service. We remember the good old days. And yet today, as we look out, we don't see the good old days occurring. What we see is a coldness, a complacency, an apathy. And we begin to wonder, as Israel looked at the temple and what was left of it, will God ever visit us again? Listen to the words of Haggai the prophet. Who is left among you who saw this house in its former glory? Who does not look to you now? Doesn't it seem to you like nothing by comparison? In a nice way, he's saying to them, let's quit looking back and look forward. Jesus put it a different way when he said, you cannot put new wine into old wine skins. God is at work. He's working through a new generation with a new way to reach a lost world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. No, our message has not changed. Our mandate has not changed, but methods do change. And in the midst of that, God calls for us, yes, remember yesteryears, but look forward to tomorrow. For God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Will you let God work through you? Remember, it's good to recall, but don't get locked down there. Father, help us to look forward to what you're going to do today, tomorrow, and into the future until Jesus comes. In His name, amen. Remember, you can't put new wine in old wineskins, so don't get too set in your ways.